Okay, good morning. Today we're going to be working on integrating information. This is Common Core Standard RI.6.7. Integrate information presented in different media or formats, visually, quantitatively, as well as words to develop a coherent understanding of a topic or issue. Now, there are a lot of times that we would need to understand in detail a certain thing. So what we would want to do is incorporate or pull in, integrate as much information as you possibly can to find out about a given subject. So let's say, for instance, that you were wanting to get a new pet. Let's say that pet was an iguana. Now, before you jump in this car and go to PetSmart and buy an iguana, you'd want to know as much information as you could. So you would need to integrate or pull together as much information as you could. Now, where might you find information? So glad you asked. The first thing would be you would go to print, like books, magazines, and websites. You could find all kinds of information from books or from magazines or from articles on the internet. So print is one good source. In case you were wondering what the iguana all look like, what the different kinds look like, you might want to go to a different source, and that is photos and illustrations. So looking at those images would give you a good understanding of the different kinds of iguanas, what they each look like, and how they differ. Another thing that would be helpful, another type of information, would be visual aids. Now, when we say visual aids, we're talking about charts and graphs, maps and diagrams, and they can give you a wealth of information, and they're quick information. Quickly at your fingertips. So this is a very good diagram of an iguana and how he lays his eggs. This is a plethora of information here in this chart that talks to you about the size and how the rate that they grow. You can also refer to maps. This map shows you where a lot of the iguanas are located. Food pyramids can show you what they're expected to eat. How fast is my iguana going to grow? So all of this information can be given to you quickly through visual aids. Now, we also have another type information that is visual aids. Okay, so if we look at animations, we can see that animations can often give you information. Now,
the octonauts and the marine iguanas.
You can see that this is an animated, the marine iguanas is animated. So that's just something.
This red seaweed will be a yummy treat at the seaweed feast this year.
Another thing that might have piqued your interest would be to look at documentaries. Now, documentaries are going to be much more involved, much more research-driven, evidence-based, so you can find out.
A country in Central America
about iguanas
has become the kingdom of two very different lizards. The basilisk carves out a carnivorous existence, while iguanas choose a slower pace of life. In such a competitive realm, both species are capable of performing strange and seemingly impossible feats in order to survive. With very different tastes in food, the two species rarely come into contact. But when the newborn reptiles take their first steps into their forest domain, battle commences. A country in Central America in the war of contrasting lizards has become the kingdom of two very different lizards. The basilisk survives.
Okay. And we also have like maybe a newscast that you could watch that gives you information about any certain specific subject, in this case, iguanas.
A juice seller's pet shop gathered crowds recently as they witnessed a 4.5 feet long ignua lizard being kept as a new pet in India's central Indore city. The lizard has become popular, especially between kids and teens of the city.
Okay, so there you have, they found a 4.5 foot long lizard. So that you may not want to get one that big. But at any rate, this all gives you information about iguanas so that you can make a much more informed decision. So remember, when you're trying to pull in information and trying to integrate, you can look to a whole lot of different sources.